What's up, YouTube? So today I'm going to talk about how I feel that the Republicans and the Democrats are basically just two wings on the same bird. So we're going to talk about, just going to go over some stuff, some graphs and everything I get for some examples of why I feel this way. Um, I don't really want to get super deep into politics, in my opinion, there's bad on both sides, both parties. But I personally feel like the American agenda and capitalist agenda, in general, just keeps on going. I don't know. I just don't. I feel like the whole illusion of two candidates, where millionaires lobby, and give money to their parties is just a little sus, and I think it's a little ridiculous how we only can vote for two parties. And if you think about it, in my personal opinion, politicians represent the rich and pretend to represent the working class, middle class, which I personally think is a fucking joke. Pardon my language, but yeah, I don't. I just don't see it. I just think. I just watch. Let's see. For example, since 1978. Look at this shit. Oh, you can't really see because my camera. But since 1978, the growth of CEO pay has radically outpaced the typical workers' compensation. Look, since 1978 to 2021, worker compensation has gone up 18%, dog. 18%. CEO compensation, 1,460%. So we're all just working for crumbs while the CEOs are just raking in millions. And it's been going on like this for what? Basically, like after World War II, for like 20 years, the CEOs and like the companies paid, in my opinion, they paid the workers pretty reasonably. And then once it hit about 1970, you can see like the CEO pay and the workers pay, the CEO just goes through the roof. It's just ridiculous. Um, yeah, so let's see. With Democrats and Republicans, right? I just think it's so funny how you got Fox News, you get CNN, and both sides constantly demonize each other and say, "Oh, they're committing fraud over here and they're committing fraud over there." Bro, when you look into both parties, there is so much fraud on both sides. Like it doesn't matter what party has more fraud. Like look at this. Like let's see. This is the Democrats. Sheila Sherfilis McCormick, I'm like dyslexic, I don't know, indicted in 2026 on charges of stealing 5 million in FEMA funds. Robert Mendez, sentenced in 2025 to 11 years in prison. He was convicted of multiple counts of bribery on his service badge. Alex Podesta, analyze 180K profits. Minnesota Feeding Our Future scandal. The massive COVID era scheme involved the theft of 250 million intended to feed low income children. So that's $250 million worth of fraud in Minnesota to feed low income children. Over 75 defendants, including nonprofit founders, convicted as of 2025 to 2026. Critics argue the Democrat led administration failed to act on early warnings of graft. California hospice fraud. A state audit revealed in Los Angeles more than in New York and Florida combined. 2026 payments to 450 hospitals were stopped due to suspected theft of 600 to 7 million in taxpayer funds. Like you look at like when Elon Musk had Doge, how much fraud he was finding. This isn't just the Democrats. Like all the insider trading with crypto, with Trump, his son making millions, like 20 million. Oh my God! Like, dude, the tariffs. Do you know how much fraud they've like? How much money the Republicans and Trump has made from the tariffs? Let's see, the Republicans. A former Nevada state Republican lawmaker convicted of fraud for misusing 70K. You know, whatever. You get the point. You get the point. There's fraud on both sides. Like it's so ridiculous that like you have people like that think that like the Republicans are saints and the Democrats are evil, or the Republicans are evil and the Democrats are good. It's such a crock of shit. Like you have fraud and evilness on both sides, in my opinion. I'm not like some politician expert. I just think it's all bullshit. I think that it's all just a show. The rich and the 1% big business interests, the Vanguards, the BlackRocks, they all benefit from us fighting against each other, blue versus red, you know, when in reality it's the poor versus the rich. And we're not revolting, we're not rising up. Look at this. Look at the lobbyist contributions. This is just one graph I just found. Like, what, $50 million in 2023-24? Look, Democrats, average, look, total contributions, 12 million, 50 million for Republicans in the election. And I think that's bullshit. I've seen ones that are even more than that. Let's look at the top 10 richest counties in America. For all the people that say that Republicans, which they arguably do, give big tax cuts to the rich, and there are more billionaire Republicans, but look at the Democrats, the top 10 richest counties in America, like 9 of them are Democrat. Like you still have a lot, like Bill Gates, you still have like a lot of very rich billionaire Democrats. Like people want to say that the Republicans are an oligarchy. Dude, it's like the same thing with the Democrats. There's so many billionaires that support them too. It's like, please, dude, I just don't see it. I don't see it. Look at the average cost of housing from 2020 to 2026. It literally went up from the pandemic. Some areas 83% growth. Overall rising 91% in the last decade. The median sale price for a home quarter 1 2026 400K compared to 329K in early 2020. I've seen shit where it says it was like even lower than 320. So like the average house is now 100K more. Let's look at the average rent. The average rent in 2010, the average rent was $1,083 a month. Now it's over 1,800 to 2,000 a month. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, dude, everything is just going through the fucking roof. Rent, housing. How much has the wages increased since 2000 to 2026? When adjusted for inflation, real median wages have grown slowly, rising roughly 11 to 13%. 11 to 13% since 2000. So housing has gone through the roof. Rent has doubled. We all know, dude, since Trump's got in, the cost of and shit under Biden and COVID, we watched uh, food prices go through the roof, and they just continued going through the roof under Trump. Like they're just, it's ridiculous. Everything is so fucking expensive now, and wages have grown 11 to 13%. Wow, yay, yay. Like, dude, we're getting screwed. I don't know how more people aren't fucking revolting, aren't out on the streets rioting, like how there's not mass strikes. Like, this is ridiculous. Let's look at the national debt. Democrat versus Republican. Look at this. Look at this. 1997 or 1977 all the way up to 2025. Look, it's just kept going. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in, Republican or Democrat. They've just gone up slowly and steadily the whole fucking time. And look, Trump just drove the big beautiful bill. He just fucking drove it through the ceiling. He's in more national debt. Let's see. Now I want to go over this video. This is good. You guys are gonna like this. Let's see if I can make it.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard business
This is
professor
ridiculous.
asked more than 5,000 Americans
This is ridiculous,
how
bro.
they thought wealth was distributed in the United States. This is what they said they thought it was.
This is a good video.
Into 5 rough groups of the top, bottom, and middle 20% groups. They asked people how they thought the wealth in this country was divided. Then he asked them what they thought was the ideal distribution. And 92%, that's at least 9 out of 10 of them, said it should be more like this. In other words, more equitable than they think it is. Now, that fact is telling, admittedly. The notion that most Americans know that the system is already skewed unfairly. But what's most interesting to me is the reality compared to our perception. The ideal is as far removed from our perception of reality as the actual distribution
This is
is
disgusting.
what we think
Just,
exists in this country.
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter,
Ignore
dude.
the ideal for a moment.
The rich just keep getting
Here's what
richer.
I think it is again. And here is the actual distribution. Shockingly skewed. Not only do the bottom 20% and the next 20%, the bottom 40% of Americans barely have any of the wealth. I mean, it's hard
Like,
to even see
like, yeah, dude, our votes matter.
1%
Like,
has more of the country's wealth than 9 out of 10 Americans believe the entire top 20% should have. Mind-blowing. But let's look at it another way, because I find this chart kind of difficult to wrap my head around. Instead, let's reduce the 311 million Americans to just a representative 100 people. Make it simple.
no, this is
Here
disgusting.
they are. Teachers, coaches, firefighters, construction workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, some investment bankers, a CEO, maybe a celebrity or two. Now let's line them up according to their wealth. Poorest people on the left, wealthiest on the right, just a steady row of folks based on their net worth. We'll color code them like we did before based on which 20% quintile they fall into. Now, let's reduce the total wealth of the United States, which was roughly $54 trillion in 2009, to this symbolic pile of cash. And let's distribute it among our 100 Americans. Well, here's socialism, all the wealth of the country.
I'll move my camera over.
We all know that won't work. We need to encourage people to work hard, to achieve that good old American dream, keep our country moving forward.
Yeah, the American dream, dog.
So, here's that ideal we asked everyone about. Something like this curve. This isn't too bad. We've got some incentive, as the wealthiest folks are now about 10 to 20 times better off than the poorest Americans. But hey, even the poor folks aren't actually poor, since the poverty line has stayed almost entirely off the chart. We have a super healthy middle class with a smooth transition into wealth. And
Yeah, that'd be the fucking dream.
Republicans and Democrats alike chose this curve. 9 out of 10 people, 92%, said this was a nice, ideal distribution of America's wealth. But let's move on. This is what people think America's wealth distribution actually looks like. Not as equitable, clearly, but for me, even this still looks pretty great. Yes, the poorest 20 to 30% are starting to suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the middle class is certainly struggling more than they were, while the rich and wealthy are making roughly 100 times that of the poorest Americans, and about 10 times that of the still healthy middle class. Sadly, this isn't even close to the reality. Here is the actual distribution of wealth in America. The poorest Americans don't even...
Bro, you can't even fucking see. It just goes through the goddamn ceiling. Like, I'm telling you, man. Look how pathetic that is. You can't even, like, bro. But let's all just keep putting on our clown mask and just keep thinking that when we vote, it's going to make a fucking difference. Like, bro, this has been an accumulation of, like, the past 100 years. Like, bro, like, we're all so divided now, bro. It's such a fucking joke, and it's how they fucking want it, dude. They want us divided by race, religion, fucking politics, everything, so that they can keep fucking getting rich. Look at that, dude. Like, I don't, honestly, and the sad thing is that I feel like capitalism is one of the best forms of fucking government, sadly, because if you look at us compared to other countries, the poorest here is still really higher than most countries, but that doesn't make it, like, acceptable. We're the richest country in the world, and I think a lot of it has to do with capitalism, but at the same time, bro, like, this is just ridiculous. Like, this is not right. Like, we've got to figure out a way to disperse the wealth more. Like, pay workers more, bro. The rich should not be this fucking rich.
Register. They're down to pocket change. And the middle class is barely distinguishable from the poor. In fact, even the rich between the top 10 and 20 percentile are worse off. Only the top 10% are better off. And how much better off? So much better off that the top 2 to 5% are actually off the chart at this scale. And the top 1%, this guy, well, his stack of money stretches 10 times higher than we can show. Here's his stack of cash, restacked, all by itself. This is the top 1% we've been hearing so much about. So much green in his pockets that I have to give him a whole new column of his own because he won't fit on my chart. 1% of America has 40% of
Yeah, dude.
wealth.
It's just, you gotta vote red, dude. You gotta vote blue, dude. It's gonna make a big difference, dude. Yeah!
Only has 7% between them. And this has only gotten worse in the last 20 to 30 years. While the richest 1% take home almost a quarter of the national income today, in 1976, they took home only 9%, meaning their share of income has nearly tripled in the last 30 years. The top 1% own half the country's stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. The bottom 50% of Americans own only 0.5% of these investments, which means they aren't investing. They're just scraping by. I'm sure many of these wealthy people have worked very hard for their money, but do you really believe that the CEO is working 380 times harder than his average employee? Not his lowest paid employee, not the janitor, but the average earner in his company. The average worker needs to work more than a month to earn what the CEO makes in 1 hour. We certainly don't have to go all the way to socialism to find something that is fair for hardworking Americans. We don't even have to achieve what most of us consider might be ideal. All we need to do is wake up and realize that the reality in this country is not at all what we think it is.
So let me ask y'all something. Do you guys really fucking think that the rich, the 1%, the people behind the curtains are really gonna let us decide who is gonna be in charge of the country? Like, with computers and AI and everything now, bro, I feel like it'd be so easy to rig elections. Like, I don't, bro. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I just feel like it's all rigged. I mean, this is ridiculous, bro. And it's just going to keep getting worse. All of us are working at least 40 hours a week. Most of us are working 50, 60 hours a week nowadays just to be able to keep our heads above water. Like, something has got to give, dude. I just, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Um, yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna make more videos like this. I'm thinking about all kinds of different topics. But if y'all can leave me a like and subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to make more. I really want to start making more videos of different content and everything. But yeah, appreciate y'all for whoever watched till the end, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.